Hello and welcome to part 2 of Red Dead 2 anti-aliasing tips and just kind of a general investigation into the anti-aliasing within the game. Let's get into it. So in Red Dead, the anti-aliasing methods available in-game just aren't that great. If you've seen part 1 of my videos, you're more than likely aware of what we have to deal with within the game. And then if you also just play the game and you've noticed the weird kind of blur that's just present overall in the game, then you know what I'm talking about. But as we've gone over before, there are a couple of things that you can do to work around the anti-aliasing within the game. But today I actually have a sort of update for the anti-aliasing and a little bit of performance updates for you as well. So in the background here, I have Red Dead running without anti-aliasing actually. So this is all just no anti-aliasing, which looks great. There's a lot of clarity. It's really clean, sharp. But if you notice in the background, a little bit in the immediate surroundings as well, there's a lot of shimmering. And shimmering is just an effect that happens when there is no anti-aliasing whatsoever. Basically, all the sharp edges of the scene are gonna kind of glisten and look like they're shiny and shimmering, but they're not supposed to. And this can be a really big eyesore. So obviously, to fix this, you're gonna wanna use one of the anti-aliasing methods. And so here we have an example of TAA Medium. I have a slight TAA Sharpening in the in-game settings, but still it's just a little bit too blurry. The clarity of foliage and trees is just kind of washed out, and ghosting appears very often. You'll notice it more with things in contrast with their background, like a bird flying in the sky or some bugs flying around. It'll have a really obvious ghosting trail or ghosting effect, and sometimes even on the horse's mane and Arthur's hair or other people's hair. It's just kind of a small detail, but if you're playing for hours and you're a couple feet away from the screen, you're gonna notice these things. So while TAA is a fine option to use, it just really isn't the best. And so to go from there, we have TAA High, and I also have TAA Sharpening on, but it pretty much looks exactly the same as TAA Medium. All the same problems appear in both anti-aliasing methods, and the only difference that I can really see with TAA High is my FPS loss, but aside from that, they're almost identical. And with TAA, there's a lot of blur in the environment. There's just a loss of clarity beyond your immediate surrounding. And even then, your immediate surrounding is not as clear as you would assume it would be. The compression of YouTube doesn't really help to showcase this, but playing the game natively, you are going to notice these things a lot more. So here we have no anti-aliasing. It is really sharp, it's clean looking, but the shimmering effect can just be overwhelming, and sometimes it can even result in LOD popping for trees and foliage, and sometimes the shimmering effect on a nearby tree can just make it kind of flicker in and out of existence. And that can be really jarring and annoying if you're just having to deal with either ignoring the trees in the background while playing the game or just accepting that they're there. And while we have gone over some other forms of help for anti-aliasing in the game, outside of the game, by using NVIDIA filters or the NVIDIA control panel for sharpening, there hasn't really been a definitive fix for anti-aliasing within the game. But to my surprise, I actually decided to use MSAA X2 again. And I've used it before, and it just kind of looked exactly like no anti-aliasing at all, because there's just a ridiculous amount of shimmering going on. And then it's also the more costly anti-aliasing with at least a 20% FPS drop. But upon trying it again, it actually kept its clarity with no blur, no smudging, and no shimmering effect whatsoever. And I don't know if this is because of an update from Rockstar, or if MSAA just didn't work before, or what, but it definitely, I think, is the best option now. And I'm not sure exactly what could affect an in-game anti-aliasing method, but it really could be a number of things that could help it work more now as opposed to before. For example, in part 1, when I was recording, it was 2 or 3 NVIDIA driver updates ago, and also about 4 or 5 Red Dead updates ago. So either a combination of the two or something like a sneaky update from Rockstar helped, but I'm glad that it works now because it really is the best implementation of AA in the game that I've seen. And after my part 1 video, I actually decided to start using 4K in game instead of trying to get the resolution scaler to work, because while it did help in terms of clarity and visuals, I was getting the same kind of performance just using 4K and with TAA Medium, which looked just as good as using the scaler method. So I've been using that for a while, but I don't have a 4K monitor. I have a 2560 by 1440 monitor. And so after a while, I just kind of got tired of the low performance to great visuals. So I decided to look into this again and then found that MSAA 2 is vastly different now. And I did try to see if MSAA 4 is a viable option, but it's pretty much just overkill. It's the same exact effect as MSAA 2, but just double the cost, which kind of doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I hope this helps anybody kind of struggling with this. I have been in the same boat. I've been struggling with AA as long as I've been playing the game, and then all of a sudden MSAA times 2 was just kind of miraculously fixing all the problems I've had. But I hope this actually translates to the rest of you, because by far this is the best anti-aliasing option for the game. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quick video into a possible update from Rockstar on the AA in the game. So if you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos delving into the ongoing investigation of the anti-aliasing in Red Dead, and also check out the channel. I have a lot of other content here. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a good one.